welcome to the Elle Scoop Show. This year we have got an amazing topic for you all. I've got a new setup here. We've got 4 ladies who are all coming to you with the greatest topics on entertainment, life, and news. So we've got this wonderful roundtable discussion, and I'm glad that you all have tuned in. How's it feel to be on the show, ladies?
Oh, great.
Excited. Get scooped on the scoop.
Yes.
Listen, so our first topic that we're going to be talking about is Toya Wright. Have you all heard about her? She's yes,
right.
Infamous Toya Wright in Memphis. And recently, she gave her husband an cheat pass. So within their marriage, she gives them 8 cheat passes a year. So do you all think that that is an establishment of trust in a relationship? Because for her, she felt like that having those cheat passes and being able to share about her relationship with her man was an establishment of truth.
Well, my question is, did she get a cheat pass too?
I don't think so, actually. I
was
think it's just a one-sided thing.
Oh, no.
From the show that I watched, it looks like it's just a one-sided thing. And he admitted that she gives him 8 cheat passes a year. Would you be able to trust your man after something like that happened?
1, no. 2, why? Why does she feel like he needs to be able to go out and cheat or go sleep with other women, and he doesn't need to be monogamous to her, but she's choosing to be monogamous to him?
True.
I think that speaks of insecurity on her part, just to be able to say, oh, well, I knew he was doing it because I said he could.
That's true. Other stars have said it as well, though. Yeah. Monique said it in the past. She recently recanted it. Isn't that correct?
Yes, she did. I think she said it early on in her relationship because they were best friends. And she said that was more for her as a woman because she was the star in the relationship, that she wanted to be able to do what she wanted to do. Interesting.
You don't hear about women doing that. You hear more so about the men and the women giving the men the cheat pass. That's interesting.
Interesting. So would you all give your husband a cheat pass? What if it was just one? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
hey,
you know
the
what?
question's on the table. We just want to address it.
Sure. I'll go dress up and we'll meet out somewhere.
Okay.
And you pretend that you don't know me. And there you go. That's how we'll take care of it.
There you go.
I have no clue. I mean, I've seen the movie Hall Pass, when the guys get a Hall Pass. It doesn't mean that you utilize it. She's calling it a cheap pass and they call it a Hall Pass. Either way, passing by what? I mean, I don't understand what, I don't know. I don't know. If it comes down to me and Eldris, it's off the table. Sir, you're getting cheated on. I tell my husband, I'm sorry, you're getting cheated on. If Holly or somebody, I don't know. But real life people, that will never happen. You can always say that, but to give someone a pass, I don't know. I think some people may think that it's insecurities, and some people may think she's confident enough that he won't use it. But if he is utilizing it, then there's a problem within their marriage. Or why be married?
Right. In the first place.
And
then
so
after they tell you, though, how do you forgive them and let it go? Yeah, that memory will stay forever, right? I mean, I'm a visual person. Yeah. So if you tell me you cheat, I thought about it. You know, how do you get rid of that?
And are you comparing the 2 people? Are you comparing me to this person? And does she know these people? Okay. Does she know the person that he's
Let the truth say, man. Okay, somebody might die.
Are there rules? You can cheat, but it can't be anybody I know, or it can't be anyone in this city in case I run into them and they think, because people, you cheat, or these side chicks or whatever they calling themselves these days, they have all types of they're very full of themselves. They think they got it going.
I got you, girl. Well, that kind of brings us to our next topic. Okay, so you all have heard of Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
We've known a lot about him. He's been on a lot of different TV shows.
Yes.
And he recently came out that he was HIV positive. Now, he came out to the world. Do you think that he should have shared that information with the past people that he's dated before? Like,
didn't he claim that he did do that?
There's some that have said, there's a select few that have said yes, and there's a select few that have said no, that he didn't tell them that information. Do you all think that that's necessary information to tell someone before you go public?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Why?
For safety reasons, and just so that I can have the option that if I want to continue in a relationship with you, then at least I know up front what your situation is.
But these are past people that he's dated. So these are people that he dated maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Oh, so you're saying should he have told them?
Should he have called them before he went out to NBC or CBS
In my
or
opinion,
ABC?
I think so. I think so.
Yes.
Major violation. Well, you know, some people, and like you said, that information is for you to choose whether or not, you know, how you will protect yourself. There was one lady that he dated that said that she loved him. So she took the retroactive virus, which protects her from, I guess, the HIV forming or, I guess, growing inside of her body. But she said she loved him and she wanted to be in a relationship with him.
What? I didn't even know that was possible. Yeah. How are we coming up with these ways of protecting ourselves from it, but we don't have a cure for it?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to get in that theory.
We can go with that all day.
But there's so many thousands of people that have HIV.
This is true.
Like this is a major thing that's out now. So I'm sure that they have something. But would you? I mean, I couldn't imagine myself taking it. Does it make sense? But I mean, if you love someone, you love someone.
It's a personal choice.
That's true.
But that gets into what we were talking about before with Memphis and Toya, and just the fact that you don't know what someone may have and what you may be bringing into a relationship. And although the person that loved Charlie Sheen knew about the virus that he had, they chose to take this retro virus. But all the other people that may not have known about it, he may have slept with them and they may be carrying that. And they may be sleeping with other people, and now the other people may be carrying it. And if you are this person that has these cheat passes, and you go sleep with somebody that slept with somebody,
you don't know.
Right.
Everyone.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, no, what I was going to say is because we're here. We are far. We hope to be there one day, but the lives that, especially since he was a teenager, that he's led and these people that are famous lead, we have no clue at all. When did he get it? Versus when did he find out that he had it? And so I don't know, given the wild, crazy past that he had, how could you even recall if it's hundreds of women, or, you know, how many people do you call or keep account of from the time that you engaged in sexual acts till now? Because he's been in movies, 30 some, like, it's been a long time that he's
been on the big screen for quite some time.
He's a party man, and any woman that I gather in my mind, any woman he's came in contact with had to be a crazy event or something he was throwing. I mean, he's had orgies and all. I mean, you don't know. So what do? You make them fill out a form,
Right.
From
1980, whatever. Fill this form out. I'll contact you in the future if something pops off. Like, what do you say? So I don't know if he was able to contact everybody before making that announcement, because
it would be.
I mean, he's been huge for years.
That's true. That is true.
Well, while we're talking about movie stars, I want to talk about the recent movies that have come out. Annie and Star Wars, and what else just came out? I think James Bond, Hunger Games, the new James Bond. And something interesting that's happened is the fact that a lot of these, especially Annie, they cast Annie as a young black girl. The new James Bond, they actually had thought about casting Idris Elba as James Bond. And for some reason, people just got in this big uproar as if it was just not allowed. Like, no, this character is not black. This character was never black. I never thought of them as this way. Annie is a Caucasian girl with red hair and all of these things. And they just got really upset. But when you think about it, when someone's writing out these characters, are they thinking about what color this person is, or are they just thinking about the life that this person lives? And if so, then should the casting be colorblind, and should we just accept whatever color the person is going to be that's cast into the position?
Well, it's funny that you mention it, because in the Hunger Games, they had a really big ordeal about Rue, the little black girl. Yeah. She was, a lot of the readers from the book assumed that she was a white girl, and there was a big to-do about it. I think, personally, if it doesn't change the script, if it doesn't change the plot, then it shouldn't matter, right? Like, for example, I mean, you obviously couldn't have a white man play Kunta Kinte, right? Or something like that in the movie Roots, because that changes the script, right? But in the movie The Hunger Games.
That's a reality.
Exactly.
You know, Roots is a reality, and then I think Hollywood now is seeing that there's much capital to be gained in the African American community when they do cast minority or African American actors and actresses. I think now they're seeing that, hey, we're missing out here if we don't start to do this.
That's true, because we show up at the box office.
We sure do.
We are supporting Tyler Perry.
Yes, definitely. I was just thinking of Tyler Perry. The Tyler Perry effect.
All right, listen, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to be hearing from Miss Zuri Johnson. Y'all give it up for her. This lady is amazing at performing poetry and writing poetry on her own, so we will be hearing an amazing performance from her. You all stay tuned.
Lyndsey asked me to do a piece, and I'm going to do the one that's called Layaway. As I sit in the display case of the jewelry store, I shine brightly, making sure my diamonds are glistening and my rubies are sparkling. Having only been touched by gloved hands, I am pure and unmarred. No scars from anyone dropping me or misusing me. My see-through package has been left unopened. The one that created me kept me in such a special way that not just anyone will get me. In fact, my creator decided to handpick someone especially for me. So I sit and wait in my display case. Many have come by and admired the jewels and curves and the placement of their setting, but few have even come close to having the case open for them. So of course they haven't reached my packaging. So they move on to the regular sale items. But one day a passerby comes in the store, and as I watch them circle the sale case, my box begins to warm. The creator comes from the back of the store and begins to hold a conversation with them. As they both draw near to my display, I give my shiniest glisten and prepare for my purchase. The case is opened and I feel the sensation of the cool of the room hitting the heat in my box. I wait to be picked up as I become attentive to their dialogue. No purchase will be made. Rather, I am being given as a gift to this one. Surprised as I was, I began preparing for my package to be opened. However, this figure, this special one, the receiver of this gift, has decided to have me placed on layaway. Not wanting to take me with them now, I'm to be placed aside to wait their return. So I moved from the front display case and placed near the back of the store. Here I can see my future lingering over the sales cases of previously used items. I am surprised and dismayed to see them being handled as if to be purchased, but always put back where they were. I sit and await in my display case.
All right, and we're back. Y'all give it up for Miss Zuri J. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She is awesome and amazing. And as you can see now, we are sampling some Patty's pie. Many of you all have heard about Patty as she introduced her pie on Walmart.com or at Walmart stores. It's sold out now. But if you're interested in finding the recipe, you can go to ElleScoop.com and check it out. Are you all sweet potato lovers? How do you like it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm typically not a sweet potato pie person. But this patty pie on my own.
Yes. Okay.
It'll turn you into
patty. Okay, I want to talk about that. With Patty, first off, I did not know that her pies were out before 2015.
I didn't.
She had her patty pies were out last year, 2014, and nobody had any idea until James Wright's viral video. How, you know, you eat this sweet potato pie and the pie will turn you into Patty, girl.
Indeed.
Yes. Patty. Now, how do you all think social media had an impact on the sales of her pie?
Oh.
Based on the sales, I think social media made a major impact. And I think that Patti LaBelle didn't really understand how social media in this day and age is very important in any way of selling any products or advertising. He gave her a free advertisement.
Right. He was literally just going to try the pie. He loved Patty, and he really just wanted to try this pie. He said, I saw this Patty pie, and I said, I need to try this pie. Let me try me some Patty. The wording of it was hilarious.
Okay.
The wording of it hilarious. The fact that he literally took the pie out the box, and the box says to warm the pie up. He didn't warm the pie up or anything. He just took a bite of it and just started singing. And Patty really at first, she wasn't even willing to give him the acknowledgement of how he impacted her sales. She just thanked him and everything, but she tried to say that her pies were selling before the video. But nobody knew that.
I didn't even know Patty had pie.
Right.
I knew.
I think other people.
You did?
I did know because she has recipes and cookbooks. She cooks.
Yes.
I mean, it's for me, I don't know what else people wanted her to do. Do I buy him a house? Do I give him a shoe? I said thank you.
Well, she bought him a $7,000 bag.
Yeah, I did. I didn't.
Okay.
I need my life to be set up like that. Okay,
but
listen, I'm
you
endorsing
got the money,
Twinkies.
endorse something.
Okay, yes.
But I think for me, because I'm a
enough?
boutique owner, if somebody that I didn't know or something wound up with one of my pieces and decided to do something with them or somebody and it went crazy, of course I would acknowledge you, but I didn't act like I didn't ask you to it just kind of happened that way. Because nobody knows when you make these videos, are they going to go viral or not?
Right, because now there are thousands of pie videos.
Yes, and memes.
Right, okay, but her pie, even on eBay, people are selling her pie, 3 pies for $70. This pie is $3.95 at Walmart.
I've gone several places.
$70
I
for
looked
3.
online at several places
Thousands.
in Lawrenceburg, in Lexington, and Louisville for this pie, and it's been sold out since. So
I think they're not even going to reproduce
Most
it
of them.
until around Christmas time.
Yes, sometime in December. Yeah, that's what they said.
The
late
pie is
December.
good.
It is very good.
Patty, this pie is
Let me
good.
sample again.
But I think it was just the fact that she said that her pie was doing great before him. And there's no, I'm not putting her down because I'm sure that it was doing great. But you cannot say that it didn't escalate from the video that he did. So just giving that acknowledgement, which she did. At Thanksgiving, she invited him over. They did a whole duet and everything. And I only know that because social media tells all your business.
That's
and
right.
she's just continuing to market off of this.
I think
So
she's
they have a
reached out
relationship.
to a younger genre of people now. I think that this really crossed over. Even my daughter, I have a 16-year-old, almost 16, but now she's looking up Patti LaBelle and wants to know all about who this lady is. So I think it's helped her.
I wonder how it affected the songs. Everybody wants to sing like Patti, but first you have to know Patti's song to be able to sing like Patti. So how often are people looking up her music now to see? I won't take it from the diva.
I think she debuted a new song or a new album, something like that recently.
Timing.
Right.
Patty, give the props.
Okay.
Okay, well, I just want to talk about something that was kind of one of my topics at one of my girl groups, so I decided to bring it to my girls here. Okay. We had a topic about when the little girl in the classroom got snatched out of the chair by the police officer, and we had the discussion about how it escalated. Okay, because the teacher was there, and then the principal was there, and then the interim or whoever inside the school, police or security, and then it just escalated. So the topic that came up was about, with all the pressures of being a teacher to churn out all the better test scores, and the classes are larger, is it really, do they really have time to pay attention to children that are going through different things that may be disruptive, or something's going on at home, which we later found out the little girl, there was a lot of things she was dealing with, and I don't think it was just about the phone. People do say it's authoritative. Somebody tell you to do something, you do it. Yes, but and I don't think anyone's arguing with the fact that it was excessive, but the fact that nobody in the classroom moved, which told me, looking at the video, it had happened before.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
You would have
where
heard somebody go like, oh!
Yeah. Nobody moved, nobody did anything. And I was very because he's a man, and it was a lot of different factors. But I was focusing in on teachers. How do they deal with children that are disruptive? Are they immediately removed? Do they have time to just, find out what's real? I don't feel that they do have time to dig into every student when they have something going on. So what do you all think about that?
It's hard. You're a parent, so
yes. I have so many thoughts about that. I'm gonna try to keep it not personal. Are you asking? Do we think that the teachers have a responsibility in looking into more than just, oh, this child has a disruptive behavior? Maybe there are some other things going on at home. I absolutely do think it's their responsibility to do that. I don't know the background on all this story,
Right.
but I do know that there are resource officers in place at most schools now, and these are police officers. And recently, there's been lots of reports of the resource officers. There was one report that a resource officer, I think it was a 7 or 8-year-old child, was put in handcuffs. And the child was crying in the office. Someone happened to record
small
that.
enough for the child. They couldn't just snatch the hand.
And he dislocated his shoulder because, and later found out this child has some other disabilities going on with him. So I do think it's the responsibility to a certain degree that, you know, in the teaching field as a teacher and in the classroom, that they do try to get to know your student, try to get to know the family. I know that can be hard at times, but as well as adults in the workplace. If you have an employee that is a good performing employee, but some falls off along the way, there could be other things going on.
Yes.
So I absolutely do think that there's a responsibility with the teachers.
But on the flip side of that, and I totally agree with what you're saying, but on the flip side of that, you've got a classroom that's going on. You've got a
That's what
teacher
I'm-
that's trying to, you know, meet the goal of getting all 24, 25, 26 kids in that room the information that they have to relay by the end of the day or by the end of the month or whatever, the week. And then you have, you know, a child that is disruptive. How do you handle that? Like with that particular young lady.
I think there's rules. I mean, not rules, but there are things set in place that if a child is doing this or doing that, and I don't know if there's certain degrees of what level of disruptiveness is, but I mean, I know in this day and age, I wouldn't be a teacher.
Right now, I believe the teachers, they are in a really difficult place because their hands are tied as far as how much they can do, but then people have a high expectation for what they want them to do. Some parents, no one here, but I know some parents that expect the teacher to do the discipline when the child's not getting discipline at home. So how is that child figuring out, you know, how am I supposed to act? I'm getting disciplined here, and I know that I'm supposed to act right here, but then it's not being reinforced when I go home. So there's that balance there, and it's really hard for a teacher to be the enforcer, to be the counselor, and then also be the teacher. And they aren't getting paid for any of these extra jobs.
And I think the reason, I think that identifying if there's an issue with the child, they have to do that first, because children that there are the issues for, they're protected. So you have 504, you have the Title VII, there's a lot of things. So there's a lot of other things and guidelines that they have to follow.
Yes.
So
and it seems like everybody's got rights. The teacher has rights, the parents have rights, the children have rights. And that kind of brings me into my next point. In Houston, Madeline Kirksey was a teacher, and she had a young student in her classroom that was 6. And his parents had told the teacher, and he had even said that he was a transgender boy. He was born a little girl, but that he felt like he was a boy. But throughout the week or throughout that month, he had said several times to different students that he was a girl or that he was a boy. He went kind of back and forth based on her testing it, and she was fired for that. Do you think that 6 years old is early enough to determine gender or strong decisions that are life-changing and long-term for a child? That's a hard question, isn't it?
yeah.
It is.
Well, that goes to the parents, because I've read several that have already, you know, encouraged their children, if they feel a certain way at a certain age, then they tap into that feeling. Or, you know, even I think here in Kentucky or somewhere where they even added it was a debate about the bathroom. Are they going to have a transgender bathroom? Or are they going to allow the young man that is now a girl to use the girls' bathroom? And it's a very difficult point to make when the child, if the parents are not playing a part in it, the child is saying, this is how I feel.
Right.
I mean, you can't very well discipline it out of them if that's what they're saying. I don't know the parents' beliefs. You know, it's so much that goes into that. But to be 6 and 7, I don't know. I was making decisions. Do I want to watch HBO? Or
I think it depends
I have my
on
own
the
TV.
I think it depends on the child.
I was the only
I'm not
child.
so sure if it's the age, because you see children that are 5 and you think they're 20. So I think it's like you said, the parents. I think they have, or parent, it depends who's in the home. But I think that a lot of that has to do with how comfortable they're making that child feel, and about having a sense of self, and just being able to be expressive about that.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, while we're kind of talking about culture, this is not along the same lines as the difference in gender, but I don't know if any of you all watched a show called MTV Decoded. It's a MTV news show. It has a young lady named Cheska Lee, not sure exactly how to pronounce her name, but she...
The pie is good, okay.
I know. But she's also a YouTuber, and she talks a lot about culture. She really gets into some genders, some topics such as transgender, but one thing she's very strong about is cultural appropriation. And so that's talking about when some aspects of one person's culture are taken by a majority culture, and they are basically able to use these things, and they use it as a fashion, whereas with one culture it's that's them, that's who they are. So when we look at on the fashion runways these days, baby hairs and cornrows and bantu knots, some things that have been the norm or things that we just know in African American culture, and they're seen as something fashionable and, oh, this is cool right now in other cultures. How do you all feel? Do you feel like this was not just cool when I was doing it? This was how I wanted to do my hair.
Right.
Or there's even been some where people, they choose to do the tribal tattoos, but the reason that the actual tribe had those tattoos, they had a specific meaning, not just because it looked like something nice that I wanted to put on my arm. And then of course the Native American headdresses and the Native American styles, that kind of gets into the African tribal styles. When is it appropriate to just pick and choose something from someone's culture, and when is it seen as somewhat disrespectful?
I think that if you're doing it in taste and you're not being disrespectful, but you just happen to like that style. I'm a hairstylist, and so I do all types of ethnicities of different, hair. And sometimes I've had people to come in and say a non-African American may want braids. And, I don't ask like, well, why do you want these braids? I'll just, they say, I just think it's a really cool hairstyle. No disrespect to it, but I like it.
Now,
they say imitation is the best form of flattery.
and that's fine and good. That's fine and good. But if I, as someone that may want to wear my hair in a natural state, or a little kid that wants to wear their hair in a natural state, they're suddenly told that they're going to be suspended from school because they can't wear their hair out or they can't wear their braids. How is that fair?
I gotcha. I think it happens across all ethnicity lines. So, for example, at my school, the university that I went to was the University of West Georgia, and we were at one time called the University of West Georgia Braves. And because Braves had, it was linked to Native American culture, and we were going to have to, and a lot of schools went through this, they were going to have to pay for classes, and the classes were going to cost the school $1 million, and a lot of, where they were going to have to offer a lot of classes on Indian or Native American culture. And so as a result, the school ended up having to change our mascot. We were no longer the West Georgia Braves, we became the West Georgia Wolves in order to show respect. There are other football teams like the Washington Redskins, for example, that have experienced, they've kept their name because they feel like it's a way to, I guess, show cultural love But we know the
it's a
term,
derogatory term.
right, that Redskins came from a period of time, that was hard for a lot of Native Americans here in the United States, especially when colonization took place. So I think you just have to be sensitive and mindful. A lot of times we don't realize how the things that we do affect other people because it hasn't knocked on our door. And it's not until it becomes to affect you as an individual and your culture that you kind of understand. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I understand what you're saying too. With imitation is the best form of flattery, and I do think that there are a lot of people that like it because they like it. I mean, but
I did not appreciate Miss Jenner and I don't know. Everybody had the craze about not the braids, the lips.
Oh.
I love my full lips. Growing up, I hated my full lips.
Yes.
I had to grow into embrace them, and now all of a sudden it's a trend. No.
Well, listen, ladies, we're going to have to go to break. When we come back, actually, you know what? This is the end of the show. You all, we've completed a whole 30-minute segment. It just seems like the time was flying, right?
Yeah.
All right. You all stay tuned. Be sure to check out the show on Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. It's every Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. You all, you can check out more information on ElleScoop.com. That's ELLE scoop.com. Right, until next time, you all stay scooped.